Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Jack. Hopefully you had a great Christmas and you're going to have a great new year to come. This is going to be the last video of the year and the last one for this week. Honestly, I'm just go at it again next week. I've been so busy with all this stuff, but I want to talk about kind of light topic about this Luigi Mangione guy who assassinated the United Healthcare worker. Well, there's a lot of problems and I don't see people addressing them. Basically, when we're looking at all these different stories, like the Oklahoma City bombing and different stories, we're looking in retrospect to find patterns for what's going on in the future. And so I think this is a terribly interesting story because it's got the most wrong with it of any story you find. Like, this is poorly done, worse than the Whitmer kidnapping, So basically, I want to point out this. When they arrest this guy, they find a Faraday bag, they find money, different foreign currencies, passports, the gun that actually killed, the ghost gun that killed the United Healthcare CEO, the silencer, ammunition, and a manifesto. So you find every single thing that you could possibly find in the bag to incriminate the guy. Kind of suspicious. These are all the things in the world that you're trying to keep super far away from you, and you're carrying them around. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's talk about this ghost gun, right? Because I haven't seen people honing in on this, but this is an important thing, right? So a ghost gun, the best thing it's good for is that you could just drop it at the scene of the crime and it can't be traced back to you, right? That's what it's for. This guy's carrying it around for the 5-day manhunt until they catch him. So basically, when you get a ghost gun, you either 3D print it or you can even order a kit, right? And when you get the kit, you get the upper metal, the metal part, the upper, and you get all the pieces for inside, and then you get the polymer lower, but it's only 80% completed, right? So it's not a gun. You don't got to do a background check or anything like that. It's just not a firearm. It's everything you need and a little tiny bit of work, not even fancy tools. If you have the fancy tools, it makes it quicker. But now it's illegal for you to work on this, right? And basically the process you have to do is you have to go into your firearm shop. You got to have a background check done for building this. You got to get the background check approved. You got to get a serial number issued to you by the government. You got to pay the gun store to put the serial number on the 80% lower. Then you can take it home and you can do the work on it. If you do anything on it, make it 80 to 81%. That's now a gun crime, right? This is serious stuff. So you're trying to tell me that this guy either printed it or bought one of these kits, put it together, then he's carrying this thing around. So you want to carry it around as little as possible because it's a crime, right? And so he's committed. He does the thing, the assassination. And then what are his options at that point? Well, you could just drop it at the scene. It has no serial number on it, right? Carrying it around is a crime. Drop it there. And as long as there's no biometrics or, biological material on it, you're fine, right? Or you could think, okay, well, let's see. I got 2 blocks away. I've got the whatever kind of bike, city bike that he used to. I'm gonna drop it in the trash can by there. Well, that's a little bit riskier because you could be caught in the 2 blocks. There could be a cop running right around the corner, And then you could say, well, I'm not gonna drop it there. I'm gonna drive it a mile to the bridge on my bike, and then I'm gonna toss it off the bridge. Well, that's even more dangerous. What if they set up roadblocks and stuff like this? But the story they're trying to tell us to get us to go along with is that the guy carried the gun around for 5 days. He carried the ghost gun around. That the only advantage of having a ghost gun, unless you can't pass the background check anyway, so it's the only way you can acquire a firearm, and that's not this guy's scenario, right? So the only advantage to it is that you can get rid of it and it can't be traced back to you so long as you don't have hair or fingerprints on it, right? So I just feel like this is absolute nonsense. Also, look, he's carrying around the manifesto. Why would you carry around a manifesto? Why would you do that? It's like carrying around a confession. It's nonsense. There's this thing called the internet, and you can put it on there, right, for free. You can put it on there. You could mail it to news agencies. There's, if you look at it, Timothy McVeigh, his manifesto didn't come till it was a letter that he wrote out of prison. Years into his incarceration after he was convicted. Like you don't carry around a manifesto with you. I'm sorry, that's stupid. And then when you look at the actual arrest, okay, so here's what happened. A customer recognized him as the guy from the TV that they're looking for, right? And told the McDonald's employee that was the guy and they should call the police. Okay, so Luigi was back at the back of McDonald's. He had his laptop out, he had a hat on, and he had a surgical mask on. So you're saying you could see this much of him and you're sure it was him enough to call the cops. Okay, well, add in there that there's a $60,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. So the customer could call the cops on a whim to get that $60,000. What did the customer do? Didn't call the cops for the $60,000, went and told the McDonald's worker to go get the $60,000. This tells us that the customer didn't want to call the cops because didn't want the name to be in the on the arrest record, right? Because the person following him is the person setting him up. I mean, it just only makes sense. There's no scenario where the customer wouldn't call and get the 60 grand, would then say, go, McDonald's employee, you call and go get 60 grand. It just doesn't make sense, right? So I'm guessing that this is just a theory, in my opinion, that the federal agent who was following him for some time and looked for an opportunity to dump this bag near this guy where he wouldn't be able to see it for the few moments until the cops came. Found that opportunity, took it at the McDonald's, went and told the customer, kind of watched from the back, ducked out when the cops came. You know what I mean? And the police officers were legitimate police officers. Because now, if you look at what this guy says, right? Not the most recent time, but the first time that he was going to court and they shoved him up against the wall and they were trying to get him in the room pass. And he says, he says something along the lines of, this is not justice. This goes in the face of your entire lived experience, right? And when I told it to Victor, he's like, wow, what a odd turn of phrase, you know? And I was thinking about it. If you look at this story of his arrest, it does fly in the face of our entire lived experiences. Humans beings don't act this way. This guy's incredibly intelligent. He planned this out. There's no way that he wouldn't plan out where to dump the gun. And the answer is right at the scene. You gain no advantage from them spending 30 minutes to find it when they pull the surveillance, or an hour, 2 hours to find it when they pull the surveillance things and see that you dumped it in the trash can by the city bike. You gain no advantage, this guy, because you're leaving nothing on the gun, you know? So anyways, I think the whole story is ridiculous. And I want to know what he was doing for the 90 days before he reappeared and assassinated the CEO. People said MK Ultra stuff. I don't know about that. There are also different levels of guilt, like where you're involved partially. Like, for example, Timothy McVeigh most likely set the rental truck bomb outside the building, you know? But he definitely didn't blow up the building. He blew up the glass to the building. Well done. You know, like maybe he got a passerby, you know? He didn't go inside and wire the building. That was done by other people. Like, we have a whole episode on this. It's quite long, honestly, because it's a complicated story, but you can see. And so when you're looking at a story, you're looking like, okay, what part of it's true? What part of it's not true? So the truck blew up and they went and found the VIN number off the axle. Okay, well, we know that part's not true because those axles do not have VIN numbers, right? You can just Google that and look on that specific model, right? But they did go to the rental place for Timothy McVeigh where he rented the truck to get a physical description of him and had a guy do a sketch. So that really did happen, which means they already knew about his plot. They just lied about the way that they found him. You know what I'm saying? And so you're looking through it and you're just trying to weave your way through the deceptions. And this story is not fully told about Luigi Mangione. I don't know. You might say, well, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous that you're saying this stuff. Sure, the stuff I'm saying is true, but why would the government want to do this and set this guy up, right? Let me just pitch an early theory, because this is really early on in this, you know? Number one, you're the government, you got tons of funding, and you don't got a lot to do. There's not like people going around lynching black people. There's not a lot going on, honestly. There's people like enjoying their Christmas and their New Year's, and you're like, man, we got to start some trouble. We got to like get people assassinated or, you know, dead in a lot of different ways. Anyways, and so you got a lot of time on your hands. What if you set up this scenario, right? And you're going to have, say, a federal agent kill this United States healthcare CEO, but you don't just want him dead. You don't even care if he's dead, honestly, if you're the government. What you want to do is you want to make a hero for people who hate the system, right? So that's where you need Luigi, right? And say he was MK Ultra to some degree during the 90 days, because this is a whole long setup job. They got a guy who looks similar to him, doesn't look like him at all. Let me put the picture on the screen. You can see on the one side, on the right side, I believe that's Luigi Mangione, and the two pictures on the left guy is the guy you're looking for. Crime Stoppers don't look like the same guy. Whatever. You want a guy looking similar to him so that you're going to frame this Luigi guy, right? And then imagine this. What you want to gain from this as the government is you want everybody to dox themselves who hates the system. So you got all these big names, like real people in real life with their real names and professions and careers, and they're going out there and saying, yeah, he should, you know, he should burn in hell or whatever they say, you know? And then the government's just compiling a list and a database of people who are a threat to the system and what level degree they are. I'm just saying this is a theory that I have. I don't know if it's true. It could turn out to be absolute nonsense, but it could be a reason why a very bored group of terrible government people would do something terrible like this, right? For no apparent reason. Anyways, that's what I got for you. Hope you have a fantastic new year, and I'll see you next year.